Hello, in this video we're going to show the Flynn Systems Circuit Trace user interface. When the program first loads up, you're going to see this home screen, and in addition you're going to see a docking panel which shows the JTAG control, USB based JTAG controllers. On the home screen there are some helpful links such as to Circuit Trace help, as well as video links to application setup info, application operations, and script programming. A system menu allows you to select a new project or open an existing project. If you're opening a new project, you're going to get a dialog box, and from which you can select a project folder. And that project folder should have a list of your boundary scan description language files, an optional net list if you have Circuit Trace Pro, and that would be a CAD net list. And you can also add things like bills of material information to take into account when building JTAG models. We can load an existing application, a recent one, that is based simply on boundary scan description language files, and when you do, you'll get some information on your screen. In the circuit docking panel, you will see the JTAG chains that you have, in this case a chain A, and a list of the devices that are in that chain. You can expand on a device and you will see, for example, a list of opcodes. You can select specific opcodes in order to run a circuit trace operations such as tracing, monitoring, and a few other things. With ID codes, you can edit the ID code values or add alternate ID. Also, in this circuit area, if you select a device, then over in the pins docking panel you will see a list of that device's pins, and we can select a pin. For example, U3 pin 8, we can set values on it. This is driving that pin high, and when it does, all of the values on other scan pins are shown and updated as arrows up or down, meaning logic high or logic low. We can drive the pin low. We can sort this list by pin name or by net name if we wish. If we select I/O, we're looking at the I/O values. A pin can be input, output, I for input, O for output, B for buffer. Or we can be looking at the values. If we go back over to, well, one thing, there are context menus, so if you select a pin and you want to set a guard or a constraint, you can drive that pin low or high throughout a test. Statically, you can turn it off, and there are a number of options on these menus. In addition, you can go over to the circuit area and you'll find a number of menus available there as well. If you have a circuit, you can sort it by logic elements or show it by net names. When you're running JTAG operations, you're going to be using the JTAG controller, and there's a docking panel for that. We'll take a look at it. It will show a couple of JTAG USB ports, and A and B in this case, and there are menu selections to set the TCK or clock rate. You can set those. There are a number of other selections on these panels. And the other thing you can do, major function, is you can select script files. You can create script files right on the screen, or you can load them up if you have some that you've already prepared. And then you can use those script files to drive and sense any pins or groups of pins in just about any way that you'd like. And then if you look at the ribbon menu for script, you have a number of choices. You have buttons to run the script file to set breakpoints. For example, if you want to set a breakpoint, run up to the breakpoint, single step, run only selected device instructions, or repeat selected instructions. Some of the other ribbon menu items are for setup. When we want to set up a JTAG project initially, we're doing a new project. We have a number of potential things we can do here. We can add a script file that preconditions a board. In some cases, boundary scan needs to be preconditioned. So we could have written a script file, put it in here, and then if we wanted to run auto detect to let circuit trace detect the chain, then that script file would be applied first. We can add elements to our JTAG chains we can take those elements from our BSDL file list or from a net list if we have it. Once we're finished, we can click OK, and then we would have our JTAG model ready for JTAG operations. In JTAG operations, what we have is the ability to create a test access port test. It's the tap infrastructure. We can wiggle pins from here. We can select pins and just trace all of the connections on specific pins, as we see here. Or we can trace the connections to all pins. In addition, we can monitor signal activity and look at active signals on the board, or we could select a pin and put it in the list and just monitor the signal activity on selected pins. And that means application mode signal activity. We'll just stop that. And that will conclude the look at the circuit trace user interface. Thank you.